A good Erev Shabbos, everyone. Erev Shabbos, Shabbos Nevorchim. Erev Shabbos, Shabbos Parashat Vayeishev. Erev Shabbos, Erev Chanukah. A lot of Erevs. A lot of beautiful stuff coming. A lot of beautiful stuff we're living through. The Parsha begins to tell me about Yaakov Avinu wanting to sit in peace in the Eretz Meguri Aviv in the land of Canaan. And then the Torah says, Ela told us Yaakov, these are the generations of Yaakov, Yosef ben Shvas Reshana, Yosef, the primary heir of Yaakov. He was 17 years old, and he was shepherding with his brothers, Vuhunar. We'll get back to the word Vuhunar, what that means. He was a lad. As Bnei Bilav, as Bnei Zilpa Neshei Aviv, and he hung out with the Bnei Bilav, Bnei Zilpa Neshei Aviv, the wives of his father. The son of his brothers that came from the concubines, Zillah and Bilpah, the concubines of Rachel and Leah. And it seems like an inconsequential pasuk. It's just there, just telling us a little bit of fact. He was hanging out with his brothers. The pasuk is a very powerful pasuk, because the pasuk calls them Neshei Aviv, calls the children of Zilpah and Bilhah the Neshei Aviv. They were the sons of the wives of their father. Up until now, they were called the sons of the concubines. The concubine of Rachel, the concubine of Leah. Now it's calling them the children of Yaakov. The children of Yaakov who were the sons of the wives of Yaakov. These were no longer called the concubines. They were called the wives of Yaakov, because Yosef worked very hard to have them included in the family, to have them equal in the family. These were not the sons of slaves. These were the sons of Yaakov. They were equal in stature. They were equal in importance. And that's why it bothered Yaakov so much. In the next words in the pasuk, it says, "Vayav Yosef is the basam ra el avim," that Yosef went and he brought the evil tidings to their father. And part of the evil tidings were saying, Dad, they're calling them the sons of slaves. Because even after he integrated them into the family, they were still called the sons of slaves. Yosef laid his life on the line for these boys, so that they should be integrated. The sons of Leah, the sons of Zilpah, the sons of Bilhah, himself should all be one big family. And that's why the events that happen after this are so shocking. Because when they sell Yosef down to slavery, when they decide they're going to throw him in the pit, everybody decides they're going to throw him in the pit. When they decide they're going to send him down to slavery and they get some profit from that, everybody profits from that. Even the sons are the ones that he protected. And it's hard to imagine. How did they stab him in the back like that? How does that happen? That Yosef laid his life out there for you, and you can stab him like that? And the problem is that what the Torah is telling me is yes. But it's not because they were bad boys. It's because they were missing something inside. They had no sense of self-validation. They had no sense of their own self. And the fact that Yosef validated them, the fact that Yosef included them, wasn't enough. They were constantly looking over their shoulder to make sure that the children of Leah were still pleased with them. And everything they were doing wasn't because it was the right thing to do. Everything they was doing is because they needed to be integrated in with their brothers. They needed to feel validated by their brothers, by the children of Leah. When they made decisions about what was best, they weren't making decisions of what was best for what was really best for them. They were making decisions about what the mainstream does, what the children of Leah do. What does everybody do? What's the norm? Bad way to make decisions. Because that means that you don't feel confident in yourself and you don't have that sense of self. And your sense of self is only defined by the way you're accepted by others. Maybe that's why the Torah tells me that Yosef was a na'ar. Because what does that mean that Yosef was a na'ar? So there are Mefarshim that say that Yosef was a na'ar means that he was immature. That Yosef primped and preened himself. And we take that as a sign of immaturity, that everything is going on around him and he's worried about how his hair looks. But the truth is that being a na'ar is not necessarily disease. We know that the Shekhinah, the divine presence that came and rose into this world from on top of the Oren, from on top of the ark, in between the Kruvim, the faces of a Nar and a Nara, of a young lad and a young girl. And these were the protectors over the Oren, over the Torah. And the Shekhinah, the divine presence, came right between their faces. That's how it's shora, that's how it rests inside of this world, by coming through the faces of a nar. Being a nar doesn't necessarily mean something bad. Being a nar means having youthful determination. Being a nar means having like that single-minded pursuit of a child. You know, a child who doesn't know what's going on around them, knows one thing, this is what I want to do. Now, there's a downside to that, but there's something very beautiful and unbelievable about that. We were driving the other day and we saw a little child. The world was revolving, just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This little child was standing there, probably waiting for their parent, and they were just singing and dancing. And just not noticing anything around them. They just wanted to make themselves happy right now. They were singing and dancing. That's what they wanted to do. And it didn't make a difference that people walking by them probably going, that kid needs therapy. Right? The kid was just sitting there having a great time. Because it had a certain goal in mind. And it had a certain determination. You see a child that's determined to do something. You say, it's amazing. Just look at a child. That youthful determination, that exuberance of a child of just wanting to do that, of not needing to be validated. Child just being very comfortable in what they're doing. Then they hit that age and all of a sudden what everybody thinks around them makes a difference. And then, okay, that's when, Tsar Gil Bonham begins. But until then, they're just happy, walking out, taking off their clothes, walking around in diaper, who cares, just doing their thing, because they feel very comfortable. They don't know not to be comfortable. It's an amazing thing we say about Yosef. There are 4 words that it says about Yosef that shows us what a nar is, what youthful determination is. He tells over his dreams to his brothers. Brothers are freaking out. They don't like the dream at all. They let him know. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. What does the Torah say? You would imagine Torah would say, and Yosef was insulted and ran away. Yosef was worried that his brothers didn't accept him, and he was sitting in his gatkes in a corner, and he was upset. He thought that maybe I need therapy. No. What does the Torah say? Vayachal amod chalom acher. His reaction was, he dreamed another dream. He told them over another dream. This is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me right now. This is what my job is right now, is to dream this dream and to tell you over this dream because I'm telling you something important, and therefore how you react doesn't make a difference to me. I know I'm doing the right thing. That kind of determination is what's being described when it says, V'hu nar, he was a nar, he was a child. He had this kind of youthful determination. He was primping and preening, says Rashi. He was taking care of himself because part of his dream was that he was going to be the king. King's got to be ready at any moment. He was totally invested in this. And he was totally comfortable with doing this, even though his brothers weren't happy with this, even though the people around him weren't jumping up and down for this. Because he was absolutely comfortable. He was able to validate himself inside. He didn't need anybody else on the outside to tell him that he was okay. And that's why the Shekhinah comes from 2 children's faces to tell us that, sometimes we got to be like children. We just got to do what we got to do. And not worry about what the people on the outside are saying, not worried about being validated by the outside. That's when the Shechira is going to be Shona. That's when the Shekhinah is going to be Shora. That's when the divine presence is going to rest on us. Has to be that strength, that sense, that determination, that internal validation. I know I'm doing the right thing. Nothing's going to knock me off that path. That's what the Bnei Zilpa, Bnei Bila were missing. And that's why they were able to throw Yosef into a pit, while they were able to stab him in the back. Because they didn't have that sense of internal validity. They needed to get that from the outside. It's a dangerous thing, that. Needing other people to validate you. Other people to tell you you're okay. Other people to tell you you're on the right course. We've got to develop that strength inside of ourselves to know that we're doing the right thing. Feel good about it. We're doing the right thing. Be determined. Be strong. Figure out what the right thing is, what's best for you, and not what everybody else is doing. Not what's going to get you validated by everybody else, but figure out what really is the best, what really is the right thing to do. That's the contrast between Yosef and his brothers. Contrast between Yosef and his brothers needed to be validated from the outside. And Yosef had that incredible strength to be validated internally. And that strength is what protected him from Mrs. Potiphar. And that's the strength that allowed him to rise to greatness, to be able to establish firmly the foundation of the Jewish nation forever. Everybody should have a beautiful, wonderful, amazing, awesome Shabbos. A lichtige Chanukah. And in Mitzvah Hashem, I'll send out a few more things over Chanukah. Have a good Shabbos.